so much that in our power, in our hand, I'm going to come and deliver the broken, destroyed, messed up, poor, impoverished people. I'm going to. You niggas ain't tough. You niggas ain't tough.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. YAHANNA, Yahweh Shema the Thug, Shema all the sisters, man. Listen, it's Captain 13,000, the card of a rhyme, checking in with the Israelite School of UPK under Commander Junior Hunt. Listen, man, this year's 52nd annual Passover. Hold on, I'm going to say it one more time. This year's 52nd annual Passover under Commander Junior Hunter under the I.S.U.P.K. Couldn't do it last year. Y'all already know the Lord had his foot on our oppressor's neck.
Here in New York City, there are roughly 1,000 cases a day. Those are numbers they haven't seen since May.
Can't do it in New York this year because the Lord still got his foot on our oppressor's neck.
New York, the center of the outbreak this spring, is now teetering on another deadly explosion of the virus.
But listen to me good. This year, 52nd annual Passover, April 24th, 2021. You understand? It's going to be in H-Town, baby.
It's going to be at the B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Y'all know what we do. Y'all know what we came to do.
2021 I.S.U.P.K. 52nd annual Passover. All the generals gonna be there. All the heavy hitters gonna be there. The daughters of Zion gonna step out with their beautiful long dresses, you understand? Strong on deck. That One West style music on deck. 52nd annual Passover.
B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Get with it to get lost, man.
Got it out the mud, straight up out the base. The word done made me crazy. The word done turned crazy. You dealing with the metaphor. We at war. I'm siding with the Lord, of course. On one accord. We ain't never stopping now. You running now. All my niggas go to ground.
Shalom. Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatha. Yahweh Shema Ladam by Shem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. President Captain TITHES with the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, telling you to come out to the 52nd annual Passover under Commander General YAHANNA. Yeah, man, it's going to be at the ranch, man, the BH Ranch. And it's going to be a glorious event. April 24th, come out, come to Houston, Texas, where we're going to serve the Lord the way he's supposed to be served. You understand? We're going to celebrate the destruction of our enemy in the BH Ranch, and it's going to be a glorious event. Make sure you come out, man. It's going to be a $200 fee to get in, but let me tell you something. You're going to enjoy yourself. It's going to be the best event you've ever been to in your life. So I'm going to tell you, man, 14149 Player Street, come out, man, and enjoy the brotherhood and sisterhood under Christ. With that, shalom.
Shalom, Officer Rod.
Hey, shalom, shalom.
Hey, Ak, you could switch up. You're not a trooper no more, Ak, man. Most High in Christ, Most High in Christ. Right? Put that officer in that name. All right. Shalom, Israel. Y'all know what it is. Monday night as usual, 7 p.m. We doing that Black history, right? Black, Hispanic, and Native American history every Monday, not just the month that the oppressor said it's okay to do it, right? So we got a good one for you today. Hold up. Let me just get on the ball right quick with these sign-in links. You know, if you're trying to Karnak.
Salaki, officer. Give me a second. I'm gonna log out and come back in, sir.
Karnak.
God, be right back. Salaki.
Right, let me get right with these links right quick. Today we're going to be talking about a sister, Rose Fortune, right? She was Canada's first female black police officer, right? So we're going to go in on the history of that. Let me just get you right with these links. If you want to be in the school, so hit these sign-in links. Hold up, let me get right with those. Give me 1 second. I hit these sign-in links. Do that 90 days. Shed the old you, so you're dead to sin. Right, go through that 90 days like we all did. Right, come get a slice of this sanctuary, this piece of heaven. Right, where you won't suffer from oppression, and you're gonna feel real brotherhood and sisterhood. Right, you're gonna feel real love, something that you haven't felt in the longest time. Let me get that last sign-in link.
God.
Yeah, my throws to the
Shalom, y'all.
that's right quick. Shalom, Aki. I'm Yahweh. Hold up, one more. Last one. So, Yahweh Shem Yahshai Barakatah to all the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alatha Ba'ashem Yahshai to all the sisters. Again, I'm Officer of 50 Zabadja. With me, I got Officer of 50 Shariwan. Officer of 50 Rod. Congratulations for passing your officer's test. Let's give that brother a hand. Right? Now you can speak, Ak. Now you can speak. Right? Now you can teach. Now you're gonna defend this truth and wake up your brothers and sisters with this truth. Right? What we got today, Rose Fortune, right? And she basically was a businesswoman, right? We're gonna get into some of her history, and we're gonna show you how she had the mark of the beast. Right? So let's get into this. Rose, get that screen share right quick. Screen share. Akim, can you see the screen properly?
It's a bit small, but actually, no, that's proper. That's good. That's the one.
Nah. Hold up. You put those banners in right quick. Right. All right. So we're good. We're about to go in right now. Right. So Rose Fortune was born March 13th, 1774, and she passed away February 20th, 1864. Was a child born in or around Philadelphia of runaway slaves, right? So she's definitely a sister. Her parents were slaves, right? They were slaves in the East Coast of America, right? Her parents became black loyalists during the American Revolutionary War. They pledged to be loyal to the British Army in exchange for their freedom, right? So that right there is basically the mark of the beast. Like if you don't bow down to this oppressor, they'll never let you get a slice of anything good, right? There are so many nations that bow down to the oppressor, and the ones that don't, they don't get to prosper, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to get some more of her story, right? We're just going to go through her story some more, and then we're going to continue with the precepts that we have, right? Uh, so again, her family, they had to plead to the British Army, to one set of oppressors, to fight the next set of oppressors, just so they could get freedom. Because at that time they were slaves, right? And now there was this big fight going on over who's going to Salakia. Akia, I'm getting some feedback. Can you mute your mics for a second? And you guys are officers, so you already know if you want to speak or chime in, just go ahead. Like whenever you got something, let me know. Drop it, right? But Bubba Kashar, can you mute your mics for a second? Don't worry. At around the age of 10, Rose was among the from New York City to Nova Scotia, right? So a big population of well, not like a huge population, but a decent amount, right? Approximately 3,000 Judites sailed from New York City to Nova Scotia, right? From one slavery to the next. And the American Revolutionary War was basically another war of oppressors fighting each other over who's gonna own the slaves, right? And who like the good old boys who would be the American racist oppressive forefathers, right? The devils that the Bible speaks of, our oppressors. They were basically tired of paying taxes to the British government, right? So one of the things that they were tired of doing is being forced to buy tea from East Indians, right? They were being forced to buy tea from the East Indians when they could grow tea themselves. So that's one of the issues they had. They just wanted basically to be free of paying taxes to someone who wasn't like a foreign leader to them. That's what the King of England was. The King of England was basically a foreign leader, right? At around the age of 10, Rose, who was approximately Salakia. At around the age of 10, Rose was among the approximately 3,000 black loyalists who sailed from New York City to Nova Scotia in 1783. She had at least 3 children and is thought to have been married twice. It is about 50 years. At about 50 years of age, she began a business transporting luggage in a wheelbarrow from the Annapolis ferry docks to the hotels and houses, right? So this sister, she was providing for herself, right? Now it doesn't really say what happened to her husbands, or if like it doesn't really give a real like good definition of what happened to her husbands, right, and why she was out there working, but she was providing for her children, right? By the early 1840s, she was using horse-drawn carriages to convoy the luggage. She became the first female police officer in North America, right? When she instituted and enforced curfews to keep the streets safe at night. Fortune is sense, strength, and courage, right? So if you become a a centurion for the Roman army, you have the mark of the beast, right? You're going to be forced to hate your people. You're going to be forced to go against your people. Right, so 1 second, let's get back. Right, so when you have the mark of the beast, that's the mark of the Edomites. That's definitely the mark of the people who hate God, right? And the Most High has his own mark that he puts on the people. Like, and when you love the Lord and you do as the Lord says, you have the mark of the Most High, right? So the Most High set to have his own mark on his people, right? So we're gonna get that. Officer Urad, can you get me Deuteronomy 6:4, Baba Kasha? Officer Shari 1, can you get me Ezekiel 9:4? Into it. We'll get into our scriptures, right? So again, the Most High has his own mark that he sets on the people, right? But we're gonna get more into the early life of Rose. Rose Fortune was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We got that already. Da, 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 da. Right? Her parents, Anita of African Madagascar, right? That was her mom, and of South American descent. A year before her birth, her parents were identified in a runaway slave advertisement in Virginia. Written in Pittsburgh, Virginia, by William Bradley, the ad was published in the Virginia Gazette April 29th, right, 1773, right? So let's try to see this ad that they put out for her parents, right? So this says, runaway left last night from subscriber, two slaves, namely a Negro fellow named Fortune, about 6 feet high. Damn, I can't get into the rest of that. 1 second, let's see if we can get into the rest of this. Right, about 6 feet high, has thin nose for one, black as he is. Wow, these devils, they just say the worst. And appears to be about 40 years of age. He took with him laundry wearing apparel, particularly a pair of buckskin breeches, almost new, a thick, thick, thicker or thicket coat, brown sailor jacket, right? So they just put out an ad saying that this person ran away. Damn. Let's get rid of that for a second.
Hey, Salaki, Officer Sabaja.
Khan.
You said Deuteronomy 4. Looks like we're experiencing some difficulties. Just bear with us, and the officer should come back.
Salaki,
There he is.
thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir. Slocky officers about are you there?
Con, 1 second. Yeah, I'm back right now. I accidentally clicked that button by accident.
Good.
Right. So 1 second. I gotta get back that screen share, right? So we can get more, because I want to get more into the part of where she became a police officer and became a police officer, right? And you just got to think about the type of people that want to go in police and be police officers, and the type of people that want approval from their slave master.
Officer Sabadia, Salaki. Right, me, right?
Con,
College. You said you want to do Deuteronomy 4, chapter 4?
I want to Deuteronomy 6 and 4.
6 and 4. College.
For sure. So we're gonna read.
Salaki, Officer Sabadia, if you can hear me, you're on mute right now.
Can you hear me?
Khan.
Okay. The water for that, Doc.
Yeah, on the bar.
Right. She started her own business when blacks and especially women were not encouraged to do so. Around 1825, Rose began carting passengers' luggage between St. John, Davie, and Annapolis. Ferry dock, ferry docks, and nearby homes and hotels. She also met ferries from Boston. She became a trusted figure for travelers, right? So she was around so much, hauling oppressors around. They began to somewhat started to trust her, as where she's just the good old slave, right? She became a trusted figure for travelers, helping them find accommodation and then.
Slocky, can you hear me?
Ensuring
Khan,
they
I
made
can
their
hear you.
connections to at
Salaki, Officer Sabadia, you're breaking up. You're on mute right now. I can see you speaking, but we can't hear you.
Slocky officer, you're out. Does it sound like I'm lagging? I'm just not sure if it's officers Abadia or what issues we're having.
Khan, I can hear you right now. I can hear you perfectly right now. I can hear you clear.
Okay, Khan, it's officers Abadia.
Khan, yeah, you're too wild.
All right,
Officer
one second.
Sabadia, seems like you're on mute right now. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Salakia to everyone watching. We apologize. If you just bear with us 1 minute, we'll get right back into it. Okay, Salakia, Officer Urad, could you get Deuteronomy 6 and verse 4? Baba Gashar.
Okay, I'm back, Rakia. Dang.
Okay.
Man. Our oppressor, man, he is a crafty serpent. I'm gonna break that down for you. He is a cunning beast with his technology, man. When he doesn't want this truth to come out,
Right.
he'll do the most, man. All right, where were we?
About to get into Deuteronomy 6 and verse 4.
All right, yeah, we are definitely about to do that. Right, so yeah, we're gonna break down Deuteronomy 6 and verse 4. Who has it for me?
Come on, I got you.
All right, we're gonna break that down right quick, and then we're gonna get back into our story. Right, so when you want to follow after your oppressors, you're not following after the Lord. You're following after the man. You're following after the beast, right? The Lord has his mark, and then there's the mark of the beast. Following after the oppressors, whether you wanted to be a politician, you wanting to be a police officer and oppress your people, that's the mark of the beast. Eating pork, smoking weed, doing drugs, harming your brother, that's the mark of the beast, right? That is not the mark of the Lord. So we're gonna show you the mark of the Lord. Like just how there's a mark of the beast, there's a mark of the Lord. And like we're not Christians, so we know the Lord is not physically marking you, right? He's not scarring your body, right? He's not implanting some type of bullshit chip in your body. Excuse my French, right? 6 and 4, Redoc. Salakia, I can't hear you.
Oh, Israel. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Come Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Khan. Deuteronomy 6 and verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Verse 5.
Read, Khan.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
Right? So
and with all thy soul. And with all thy might.
Khan, you're breaking up. Read that one more time.
Khan. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Right.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Right. So this is basically, this is showing you that this is actually the creed, right? This is the creed, that verse 4: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. Like the Taino, the Northern Kingdom said this to to Columbus the rapist when he first docked, right? This is how they greeted those oppressors, right? And it's letting you know that thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, right? And that's key right there, right? With all thy heart, right? That's marking the Lord, the love of the Lord in your heart, right? You're loving him with all thy heart and with all thy soul, right? And with everything that you could physically do, right? That's how you're loving the Lord, right? So so Urad, Officer Urad, what is loving the Lord according to the Bible?
God, loving, loving, loving God according to the Bible is to keep His commandments and His laws
Right,
and His statutes.
right. So there you have it. Loving the Lord according to the Bible is keeping his laws and his statutes, right? Read verse 5 out.
God, verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Read.
Verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto the children, and shalt talk out Salakia, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Right. So basically, that's how you love the Lord. Like, you got to keep his commandments in your heart, and you got to keep it in the way you walk, and in the way you talk, and in the way you move with your brothers and sisters, right? Read verse 8.
God. Verse 8. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. Hmm.
Right? So you're gonna bind these laws and these commandments in your hand. That means your works, how you work, and how the actions that you do. You're not gonna take up that fork to go eat some pork, right? You're not gonna use your hands to sell drugs to your brother. You're not gonna use your hands to try to murder your brother or your sister, right? Read that one more time, Ak.
God. Verse 8. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes.
Right? So read.
Verse 9. And thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house, and
Salak,
on thy gates.
Salakia, one more. Read verse 8 one more time, huh? Salakia.
No, so verse 8. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand,
right?
and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes.
1 second. So that word, right, for signs, basically, like when you go to the Strong's and you look at the definition for the word signs, you have a waf, right? And that means to sense of appearing, right? A signal, or literally figuratively, right? You could find that in, if you have a Strong's, you could go into your Strong's Deuteronomy 6 verse 4, right? And you could see it is H226, right? So you go to it and it shows you a sign. That's a beacon, right? So you have it in your hand, that's a sign, right? And you wonder what that sign is for, right? That's a sign. Like, keep in mind, that's a sign. Like, the mark of the beast is not, it's not a chip, right? So the mark of the Lord is not a chip, right? It's something that you put in you, right? That's keeping the commandments. That's the spirit of the Lord, right? So these when you keep the spirit of the Lord on you and you keep his commandments, that's a sign to the Lord, right? That's a sign to the other nations, right? The other nations see you, they see us with our fringes, and they see us with our headbands. They see the officers who were once troopers in all black, right? They see them and they say, hey, what is up with these people? What are they doing? And that you're showing them a different sign. You're not showing them the same thing they're used to seeing, right? So we're gonna go to where you could find this sign, right? Officer Shariwan, can you get me Ezekiel 9 and 4? Right? So we're gonna go to that sign. Salakia, let me catch with you. Ezekiel 9 and 4.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark on the foreheads of the men that sat.
Khan, hold that right there. Officer Shariwan, who is the him that the Lord is talking to in verse 4?
Salaki, is this the prophet Ezekiel?
Right? This is not the prophet Ezekiel, right? This is the angels, right? So the Lord sent the angels to put a mark on the foreheads of men, right? So we're gonna remember that. Remember we talked about in Deuteronomy 6 that the Lord has a mark, right? The Lord has a sign for his people, right? So read some more.
Khan. And that cry for all the abominations that he done in the midst thereof.
Right. So now let's go back to the top of that one and let's read that one from the top.
Khan. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem.
Right. So go through the city and and go through the cities and go look through these cities. Read.
And set a mark upon the forehead of the men that sigh.
Right? So there's men that cry, women and men that cry, right? They sigh, they're mourning, right? Put a mark on their head. Right? So read.
And that they cry for all the abominations.
Right? So they cry for all the abominations. They cry for all the abortions. They cry for all the drugs being pumped into the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. They cry for all the murder that they see, where innocent children and innocent Black and Hispanic and Native American women and men are getting gunned down. They cry for all the sisters that are going missing. They cry for all the brothers that are in jail. Read.
That he done in the midst thereof.
Right? So they're crying because they see in the middle of the cities that they're in, that all the terrible things that are happening to their people, right? All the homosexuality being pushed on them, right? All the whoredom that's being pushed on them, right? That's why they're crying. Read verse 5.
And to the others he said in the mine here, go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity.
Right? So the mark, right? Officer Shayuan, what was the mark that the angels put on these men?
He was marking that these people were of the Lord.
Right. Let's get that officer hand, right? He was marking that these brothers and the people that had the marks on their head, they were of the Lord. Meaning they kept the Most High's laws. They walked in His ways, right? So when you walk in the Most High's ways, you're gonna start to see things that hurt your heart, right? You're gonna be crying at the sight of your people, right? When you walk in the Most High's ways and you know that you're from the tribe of Zebulun, and that you know that you're from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Simeon, Manasseh, and Issachar, and you know who your people are, and you see their destruction, you're gonna cry, right? But they were in the truth, so that's what they were marked with, right? So now we go back and read verse 6 again, one more time.
Verse 6. Slay utterly old and young.
Oh, Salakia.
Verse 4.
Where are we? Verse 5.
Verse 5. Come. Ezekiel 9 and verse 5. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity.
Right. Officer Shayuan, you want to give that a try and breaking that part down?
Kanak. So this angel that he sent, this angel was working for the Most High. He was doing his judgment. And he said, go to the children of Israel that aren't marked and smite them, kill them. Don't have pity and don't let your eyes spare.
Right. So that's it right there, right? So if you don't have the mark of the Most High on you, you have the mark of the beast on you, right? And when you don't have the mark of the Most High on you, you could be a victim of the punishment of the beast, right? So the beast is gonna get punished, and when you don't have the Most High's mark on you, you're gonna get that punishment. So that's what they were being told. Go through and mark the ones who are following, and that's a sign, right? So now, when it's time for you to go kill, you see the sign above them that you're not supposed to touch these people, right? And angel, does an angel have the ability to disobey the Most High?
La.
Right. So the angel is gonna be told, okay, kill, 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 kill. No good for the kill. Right. So, da, 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 da. We'll hold up. Okay, so we're gonna get back into our story for a second. Right, so we're gonna get back into our story for a second. I need that screen share again. Well, really, she woke up. Okay, so let's go back to it. So this is now 1814. Her business becomes known as the Lewis Transfer. 3 years later, she has horses that are drawing wagons. She doesn't just no longer have a what you would call a wheelbarrow to move the luggage, right? So now she has horses that draw the wagon, right? So she woke up guests at inns so they could meet their ferries on time. One of her regular customers was Thomas Chandler Halliburton, right? That is such an oppressor's name. He's a Halliburton, right? Judge of the Supreme Court from 1841 to 1856, who she woke so that he could travel to Digby in time for court, right? So this is an interesting part of the breakdown that they gave on this lady's life, right? So she's doing all this, right, for these oppressors, and she has children to feed, so she's a mother and she's feeding her children, right? So this is someone who this is Lieutenant Colonel Slade of the 77th Regiment, 1852, right? He says, I was aided in my hasty efforts uh, to quint the abominable inn by a curious old Negro, right? So off the bat, he called her a Negro woman, rather stunted in growth and dressed in a man's coat, right? So now I know that our people weren't always the richest, right? But this woman is wearing a man's coat, right? So also side putting in the fact that our people weren't the richest, so we're gonna cover up with what we cover up with. But this is a lady wearing a man's coat, so you can kind of sense her spirit, right? Because it's probably like she could have more than likely have gotten an old woman's coat if she wanted to, but she's dressed in a man's coat. She had a small stick in her hand, which she applied lustily to the backs of all who did not jump instantly out of her way. Poor old dame. She was evidently a privileged character, right? So you definitely know that she was not applying that cane to the backs of white men and women, right? In that time, she was not doing that. She was doing that to her own people, right? She's like, get out my way, and she just has no love for her people, right? Even though she does somewhat, but she just you can see her spirit. It's not the it's there's no it wasn't loving, right? So we're gonna keep going, right? She was well known in the town leaders, and she had limited competition due to her reputation. Her strength, trust, and honesty, and constant presence on the waterfront led her to become entrusted with safeguarding property and maintaining order on the wharves. Right, so she was on that wharf doing her job and being a nuisance to her people, while at the same time waking up white men so they can catch their ferries and they can get to their jobs on time. And she was basically like a good house slave on that wharf, right? And with all the house slaves are the ones that they trust somewhat, right? They don't fully trust them all the way. Some house slaves they did, but she was basically she played the role of a house slave on that wharf, right? So she became entrusted with safeguarding property and maintaining order on the wharves and warehouses of Annapolis Royal, acting as the town's waterfront police officer, right? So she acted like a police officer because they basically gave her that authority. They let her act like, right? And that's basically what, like, she became like the first black woman to be a police officer in Canada because her oppressors trusted her, right? So let's go more into what her duties were. Hold up. Let's see. For instance, she created and imposed curfews for wards to keep boys' behavior order, right? So which boys do you think were listening to her? Officer Shaw Yuan, which boys do you think were listening to her?
Fuck, I'm not sure, sir.
Right? No sweat. Right? So she was policing her own people, right? And in that era, white men would definitely not be listening to to a black woman like that, right? So she was setting a curfew and imposing curfew on her own people and trying to police her own people because in her mind her own people needed to be policed, right? They needed to be under the thumb, right? And the oppressors let her do that willingly. Like, oppressors aren't going to listen to her. Oppressors aren't, like, she has no power in telling an oppressor like you have to come off the wharf when the oppressor thinks he owns the wharf. He owns the wharf. Why is this slave telling me what to do? Right? She was the only person responsible for law and order in Slovakia. What was that?
No, sorry, I didn't say nothing.
Khan. We're gonna get some more into this. Right? She was the only person responsible for law and order in Annapolis for a time, and is said to be the first female police officer on the American continent. She worked into her 70s, right? So they basically hired her to police blacks. They basically allowed her with that authority so she could police her own people, right? So let's go down a little. She did a little good for people sometimes, but there are many people who love their oppressors, but every once in a while they snap out of it and they go and help their own people, right? So they're saying that fortune helped other blacks escape slavery on the Underground Railroad by leading runaways to locations that were safe, right? In her later years, she had severe hematism or hematism and lived near the Union Bank. Fortune died in Nova Scotia on February 20th, 1864. Right? So Slovakia, uh, Trooper Officer, can you get me Proverbs 31 and 10? All right, so we don't need this no more. We're done with that. To everybody watching, to water for watching, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's not forget, tonight we got General YAHANNA, right? Commanding General YAHANNA and the heavy hitters, Slovakia, 1 second, and the heavy hitters, Black Watch, that's the Black CNN, tonight, YouTube, Black Watch, Commanding General Yohanna's the channel, 9 p.m. Don't forget to check it out. Black Watch. That's the Black CNN, man. That's the place. That's the only place you'll get the news that actually matters to your community, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's time to gather together, right? We gotta gather together because this brotherhood is a weapon. Salaki, what was I asking for? I was asking for. Let me get Proverbs 31 and 10.
Cotton, I got it for you. I got Proverbs 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Right? So for the act that this sister was doing when she would snap out of loving the oppressors, right? She would help slaves get to safe places, right? And that was a righteous thing to do. That was a virtuous thing to do. That's what all sisters should do. They should be helping their people and not loving their oppressors, right? So that was the best thing that she should have been doing that the whole time, right? There's no need for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to be police officers. You're not gonna change the system. Like y'all been police officers since this lady was the first police officer. Y'all haven't done anything to help the system, right? Or to change the system that we're in, right? So last thing that I need right now, we're gonna play a quick little video clip. Right? I want this video clip real quick. Right? This is basically a sister who followed in the path and the footsteps of Rose Fortune. Right? She followed in the footsteps of Rose Fortune, and we're gonna see what happened. Basically, like she got called out for being like, how could you be a black police officer knowing the things that they do to your community, and like that's what they called her out on, right? So let's get this quick screen share. Get the audio with that.
Slovakia.
Cotton, officer.
I'm not sure if he's freezing.
Slack, officer Sherry One, you saying something?
But Slovakia, Officer Zabadia is muted. He's trying to speak.
Yeah, every time, for some reason, every time I lose like kind of connection with the Wi-Fi situation, like in the stream freezing up, it mutes my mic. Right? I was trying to get a quick clip of his sister. Damn, I gotta get it right quick. But I'm gonna see if we can find it in a second. Right, we're gonna continue into right. So we want to continue with the seal of the Most High. Right. Anybody holding anything for me?
La.
La.
All right. Someone get me Revelations 14:1.
No sweat. I got it.
All right. When you have it, get it.
Khan. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written on their foreheads.
Right. So this is John the Revelator, right? When John the Revelator was imprisoned on the island of Patmos, he had revelations and visions, and that's how we got the book of Revelations, right? Like a lot of the revelations, it's not really literal; it's just visions and metaphors, right? And a lot of it's written in slang because our people, we're black people, we speak in slang. We say bread like yo, where that bread at? And we ain't even talking about bread that gets jammed, right? We be talking about money, right? So read.
Verse 2. And I heard a voice from heaven, as a voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard
Wait. Slakia. Read verse 1 again.
Kana. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads.
Right? So this right here is what we read earlier in Ezekiel 9 and Deuteronomy 6, right? This is the mark of the Most High. Like the mark of the Most High is written on their foreheads. And when the angels come back, these are the men that the angels are going to basically make sure aren't harmed, right? Because they're going to be the judges and rulers in the tribes and nations in the kingdom of heaven. They're the 1,200 from each tribe, 12,000, right? They're the 12,000 from each tribe, right? And they have the mark of the Most High on their foreheads, right? In their minds, when they wake up, they don't think to commit crime against the Most High. They think to keep His laws, right? That's the mark in their forehead, right? It's not a chip that's in their forehead, right? It doesn't say anywhere here that they're gonna have a chip that's gonna help them keep the laws of the Most High, right? Y'all be looking for this mysterious chip, and then be on your iPhone super gadget out that can talk to satellites, talking about the mark of the beast is a computer chip, right? You got a computer chip in your wallet. Just go pull out that BMO bank card, right? Pull out that TD bank card and that Capital One Mastercard. You already got a chip right there, right? But that's not the mark of the beast, right? But we're gonna continue to break it down, right? So this mark that is on these men, that's the mark of the truth. That's the mark of them following the Most High's laws, right? Now I'm gonna try this one more time, and if this don't work, our oppressor is the devil. So Salakia, Officer Shaywan, if anything freezes up, just read Revelations 13 and 15. Like, Officer Urad, read Revelations 13 and 15, and Officer Shaw, you can break it down for a quick second if anything freezes up.
Con. No sweat.
Come on, Akim.
About 500 of the protesters by.
They're all standing behind her. They're
All right, I'm back. Can Akim hear me?
Con.
Con.
That video froze up.
Yeah. It froze up, right? So, hold up. There's basically a video. I'm gonna drop the link for the video in the chat so y'all can go check it out yourself.
The water.
Right. So there's a video of a sister who's a police officer. She fully has the mark of the beast on her, right? And she was at a protest. This is during the George Floyd protest in the city of Toronto, and they basically, some other sisters are chastising her for being a cop, and they're basically telling her she's ashamed. They're basically telling her she has the mark of the beast, right? Because she's in an organization that hates her people, and she acts like it's nothing, right? And during this confrontation, right, you could select it. During the interview, right, she did an interview with a black reporter named Dwight Drummond, and she's basically saying like she felt like she wanted to break up, and she was feeling emotional because what they were saying was getting to her, right? So I'm gonna drop that in the chat in a second, right? You can go check that out. Hold up. I'm gonna drop the link for it in the chat right now. Y'all could go check this out. Right, check this out on your own time. Right. So now we're gonna get more into the mark of the beast, right? So when a police officer, a black person joins the police force, they have the mark of the beast. They're not following the Most High. They're following after their oppressors, right? Right? Your Christian pastor. Yeah.
I stood back, I watched, I listened, and I was.
Your pastor has the mark of the beast, right? So check that link out. Watch it on your own time. We're gonna get more into the mark of the beast, right? So someone bring me to Revelations. Someone bring me to Revelations 13 and 15.
I'm holding it. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Right? So Officer Urad, what is the mark of the beast in a nutshell?
Christianity.
Right? So Christianity is the mark of the beast. Khan, hold up 1 second. I'll try to get something for you. Right? I'm trying to get something right quick. Christianity is definitely the mark of the beast. Right? And Officer Shariwan, can you read that one more time for us?
Khan. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many.
So the image of the beast speaks, right? So this is the Christian pastors when they speak and they say that God said love everybody. God said love your slave master. God said it's okay if you're a sinner. Just say you're done sinning at when just before Christ comes, right? Let me see if I can get this image properly, right? So those are the things that's how the beast sings. That's Salakia. That's how the beast speaks. Let me just see if I can open this up in the new tab. So that's Salakia. Kanak, what were you saying?
I can't say that.
Khan. Hold up. Officer Shaw, you want to read? Continue reading?
And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Right? So if you don't worship the image of the beast, you were put to death, right? They hung so many blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans for not worshiping the image of the beast, right? So we're going to get the image of the beast right now. Hold up. Let me get that for you. Right, so we're gonna get the image of the beast right now, right? So if you don't worship the beast, you fall victim to the beast. You get eaten up by it. You are killed by the beast, right? Officer Urad, get me Ezekiel 34 and 28. Right, you are killed by the beast if you choose not to worship this beast. right? So we're gonna show you what we're talking about right now, right? When Christopher Columbus came off those ships, he came with a image. He came with a Bible in his hand, but he didn't teach what was in the Bible. He wasn't speaking anything that was in the Bible, right? Slovakia, hold up, that's not what we want. He did not teach anything that was in the Bible, right? He came with this image right here, right? Can everybody see this? This is the image that Christopher Columbus came with, right? This is Caesar Borgia. This is the image of the beast, right? So we're gonna leave this up for a quick second. Officer Rod, do you have that Ezekiel for me?
I got it for you. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34 and verse 28. And it reads, "And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beast devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid."
Right. Read that one more time for me.
Kana. And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beast of the land.
Right. So again, just like forever, like we black people, we talk with slang, right? So it's not always gonna be like we might say beast, but really we mean like a person. We talk with slang, right? So we're not gonna be prey to the beast no more, right? Being a prey means you're. What does a predator do, your officer, your
He prays for his victim.
Right, but when a predator preys on a victim, what is it essentially doing? Like, what's the end result of preying on a victim?
So, like, if I could, he destroys and devours.
Right. Just like that, right? So when you are a prey to a predator, you are destroyed and devoured, right? Finish up that verse, Baba Kasha.
But they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid.
Right. So that's showing you that we became prey to these beasts, right? Who had Revelations 13 for me? That was Officer Shayuan. Continue reading Revelations 13 where you left off.
Did you want? I left off at verse 16.
Right. So in verse 15, we found out that men gave power to the beast. The beast is Christianity, right? The symbol of that beast is white Jesus, right? Men gave that beast power to speak, right? And they beat it into us, right? The beast is their rulership, right? And like the beast is the rulership of Edom, right? That beast, right? It's not like a literal beast with 7 heads, but that is the beast, like the rulership of Edom. Right? So read verse 16.
Come. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Right? Con. Officer Shayuan. Who is the all? Like what is this? What does that verse mean? Who called this all?
Salakia. Um, all the small nations, all the large nations, poor people, rich people, all people on the earth.
Right. See, Canada, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you have men before you that are rising up to teach you the truth of this Bible, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to teach you the truth of this Bible. Like the men that are gonna sit here and tell you that this means it's a computer chip, they're lying to you, right? So he causes the small nations, right? The rich nations and the poor nations, the free nations like Britain, free nations like Russia, free nations like Australia, right? And the bond to receive the mark if they want to be free, right? So the small nations that be bending to the will, right? So like every Hamite land of flea nation that you could think of, right? That the blackity blacks call Mother Africa, they have the mark of the beast. They bent the knee to the oppressor, right? These blackity blacks, they have the mark of the beast. They don't have the truth in them, right? And that mark is in their foreheads. The way they think, that's where that mark is, right? It's not a microchip, right? Do you know what else has microchips? Dogs have microchips. Sharks have microchips. Dolphins have microchips. So do the dogs, sharks, and dolphins have the mark of the beast? Right? Do you hear how stupid that sounds? That the mark of the beast is a computer chip. Right? When you walk around with a computer chip in your pocket, you're watching me on a computer chip right now.
That's right.
Right? It's not an RFID chip. That is not the mark of the beast. Like you're not you if you have a chip in your hand and you have to wave your hand to pay for something or open the door, that is not the mark of the beast. That is something some crazy white men said, and every black, Hispanic, and Native American leader that thinks that they love the people, that really love the lust and power that they have, that they ran with it, right? Because they have the mark of the beast. They say whatever the oppressor says, right? So let's go, right? You went through that, right? So the mark of the beast is basically a way of living, right? It's their politics, their religion, their democracy, right? It's a sign that you're loyal to Christianity, right? Their armies, their police forces, right? Like let's they're you have the mark of the beast because you're joining the army to go blow up some Arabs that did nothing to you, right? Like in the 70s, black men went to go fight the Vietnamese for nothing, right? The Vietnamese weren't their enemies at that time. Like they weren't their immediate enemy, right? But because the white man loves to kill and to create war to further establish his power, right? They went through and joined the white man, and a lot of them were drafted, right? They were drafted, right? But you going to go blow up some Arabs for no reason, that's the mark of the beast, right? Job 9 and 24 says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? That means the leadership of the earth right now is wicked, right? They are the devil the Bible speaks of, right? What is This is a question anyone can answer it. What is the most dominant religion right now? Right?
Slakia.
If you're in the chat, you can answer it too. If you're in the chat and you're watching, you can answer it too. What is the most dominant religion in the earth? Right? Someone in the chat put down an answer if you got it. Let me know what you think. Right? Trooper Officer Urad, what is the most dominant religion?
The most dominant religion right now, Is the is what everybody worships right now. The image of what you say is the mark the image of the mark of the beast, which means it's Christianity, right?
Right there, right there. Good way to take it right home. The image, the most dominant religion in the earth right now is Christianity, right? Again, like, subscribe, and share this video, right? Don't forget that Black Watch is coming up soon, 9 p.m. on Commanding General Yohanna. Go and watch that. It's the Black CNN, the best thing you can watch. Right, hold up. Right, where we at? Right, so if you have the mark of the Most High, you follow the Most High's will, right? Brothers in this truth, they grow their beard, right? They wear fringes. They have the mark of the Most High. Right? They keep the Most High's laws. They're not eating pork and shrimp and lobster. They're not sleeping with whores, right? If you sleep with a whore, you have the mark of the beast. Right? Is that simple. Like, you sleep with a whore, you have the mark of the beast. It's done. Right? There's no long debate about it. You have the mark of the beast. Like, you love those whores. You don't want your sisters to be whores. You don't want your daughter to be a whore. Right? Don't love whores. Right? You don't want your wife to be a whore. Don't love whores. Right? Let's go. What else do we got? True Officer Urad, bring me to Revelations 12 and 9. Brother Kashad.
Kind of. Revelations 12. You said
Revelations 12 and 9.
Revelations 12 and 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the world.
Salakia, hold that right there. Right? So the beast is a dragon, right? It's the great dragon, America. What does a dragon do? A dragon breathes fire and it destroys, right? America went with its planes and dropped bombs from the air. It breathed fire on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? And it dropped bombs. It went to somewhere in the middle, somewhere in what they call the Middle East today, and Donald Trump dropped what he dubbed the mother of all bombs, right? And he blew up a general, right? That's what the dragon does. It was a small serpent, right? That man who tricked Eve, that small serpent, right? And it grew into a huge serpent, a dragon, the great dragon, right? That would be America and its allies, right? Like the you have Canada, it's not like a big dragon, but it's a part of the great dragon, right? Whatever America says, that's what its allies do. Right? So now we're gonna continue more. Let me get Officer Shaywan, get me Revelations 13 and 15. Did we read that one already? No, we're going to read that right now. Revelations 13 and 15. Khan.
You wanted to reread this?
You already dropped Revelations 13 and 15?
Khan, to verse 16. 15 to 16 we read.
13, 15 to 16. Right, okay, right. So bring me down to 17.
Khan. It's Revelation chapter 13, verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
Wait. Slakia, hold that. Officer Urad, bring me to Genesis 3 and 1. Baba Kasha. We're going to hold that. We just want to hammer in more what the beast was, right? Slakia, I just want to hammer that in some more, what the beast was, right? Because again, we talked in slang, and that's important. So you can know that we talked in slang all throughout this Bible. Right? Bring me to Revelations 3 and 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse
3 and
1.
1.
Now, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Yea, shall not eat every tree of the garden?
Right. So the serpent, right? So this serpent is not a serpent because snakes do not talk. And if you think snakes talk, you need to go get checked out. You need to go speak to someone, right? Because snakes don't talk. Right? This is a man. This is the spirit of our oppressors, right here, right? So this is to show you we talk in slang, right? A serpent, right? Let's see. Hold up. 1 second. Someone, Officer Rod, get me the definition of serpent. Officer Shayuan, let's get back to Revelations 13 and 17. When you got it, read it.
Time. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast.
Right. So you think, right, because your pastor has lied to you. So yeah. Let's see what's going on over here. Salakia, Niximolos, Shalom, right? Like, I don't know what that clip is about, but you know, you got to get in this school. Like, you want a safe place to be where you can wake up your brothers and sisters. You got to get in this school, man. If you're not in this school, you're gonna fall victim to the sins of Babylon, right? Read that one more time.
Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast,
Right. So
or the number of the name.
God. So there are 666 men who make up the leaders of this world, right? That's the number of white men who run the world, right? And you think that buying and selling means you went to the store today and you bought some J's and you bought 10 J's and you went and sold them out the trunk of your car, right? You think that buying means that you started a little convenience store and you started selling chips and pop, right? That's not buying and selling, right? No man, meaning these nations, can't buy and sell without accepting the philosophy of Esau. You have to accept the philosophy of Esau to buy and sell, right? And when you don't accept the philosophy of Esau to buy and sell, you end up like Haiti. You end up like the children of Levi, the Haitians, right? You end up like Slovakia, Venezuela, that's the tribe of Asher, right? So you end up like the Venezuelans, right? Like Hugo Chavez. He wanted nothing to do with the mark of the beast for the most part. He wanted for his people to be free, right? We're gonna get into that. You think buying and selling is you selling chips and J's out your trunk. That is not buying and selling, right? You are a consumer, right? You are not a nation that buys and sells. Buying and selling, the nations, they buy and sell. They buy and sell by the boatload, right? Nations, they trade gold, rubber, iron, salt, minerals, food, lumber, right? Those are the things they trade. They sell electricity. That's what nations do. They sell fuel. That's what nations do, right? They buy and sell these things. You just buying gas for your car. You are not a buyer or seller, right? You're just a consumer. That's all it is, right? Again, by the boatload, these nations buy and sell. What else do they? Who knows what else they bring in by the boatload? Anybody want to take a guess?
Salakis.
Kanak.
They trade basically all kinds of exportation of manufacturing goods. To be specific, I mean, one of the big ones too is like let's say iron or gold.
Kanak.
That's the only thing that comes up to my mind.
That's not what I'm talking about. Officer Shaywan, you want to give it a try? What do they bring in by the boatload? Right? I'll even give you a hint. It ends up, it's on every reservation and every ghetto you could think of. Right? I'll give you guys one more chance. Come on, officer. What do you, Officer Shaywan?
The first thing that came to mind was drugs and weapons.
Right. The water. Right? That's what they bring in by the boatload. They bring in drugs and weapons, and it ends up on every reservation and every ghetto that you could think of, right? By the boatload, right? North Korea didn't want to participate in the mark of the beast, and now they're eating dogs, right? That's what's going on in North Korea. Haiti didn't want the mark of the beast, and they freed themselves from oppression. They surrounded Haiti with embargoes, made them agree to pay billions of dollars, and now it's mud cookies, right? And thankful that we got Officer Yatazar, right? We got Officer Adiyar and Salaki. I believe there's an officer or a trooper actually in Haiti. Salaki, if his name is not in my mind at the right moment, but right because of those men, we have the truth now going into Haiti, and they're helping out. They are bringing barrels of food to help out their people. Those men don't have the mark of the beast; they have the mark of the Most High. Right? Hugo Chavez, he didn't want nothing to do with the mark of the beast. He just wanted to try and sell his oil, right? Because Venezuela has a very big oil deposit, and they would not let him. Right? They sent assassins to kill him, and they tried to overthrow him many times. Right? So, and this is how we know that Slovakia. 1 second. Okay, so this is how we know that we're talking about all the nations, right? That all these nations are going to have to bow down for the mark of the beast, right? Like the Hamites, Canaan, the servant, they bowed down for the mark of the beast, right? And that's why everywhere you go is Christianity, right? You can go into Vietnam right now and you'll see a white Jesus, right? They'll have a white Jesus and a church full of Vietnamese Gentiles worshiping the mark of the beast, right? Officer Shariwan, bring me to Revelations 18 and 8, 18 and 3.
Connor.
Right, and before we one second. Before we continue, I wanted to just read a quote of something Hugo Chavez said, right? Right. He called it right out on the nail with this one. Right. So before we continue, we're gonna go just a little over the time, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So President Hugo Chavez of Venezuela bitterly and sarcastically assailed President Bush before the United Nations General Assembly, right? So he said Bush is the devil, right? He said Mr. Bush as the devil who thinks he is owner of the world. He said yesterday the devil came here, right? Damn, right here, and it smells of it smells of sulfur still today. This table that I am now standing in front of. Right? He knew
Right.
who had the mark of the beast, and he knew who the devil that the Bible speaks of is. Right? So what
Right.
awesome. I know it's getting late. Bear with me a few more minutes, and we're gonna wrap this up. So what for tuning in. Right? So get me Revelations 18 and 3.
Connor. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Right? So again, right? So the buying and the selling is for the merchants, right? If you buy to eat, you're a consumer. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're a consumer. You don't buy and sell like merchants do, right? The merchants, they're the ones that are going to be in fear, right? They're going to be angry. Read that one more second. And the merchants of the earth wax rich through the abundance of her delicacies, right? So the merchants of the earth, they accepted the mark of the beast and they got rich off blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
Jump down to verse 9.
Okay. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Right? So this place, Babylon, raise it. It's going up in flames, right? It's going up in flames, and the merchants of the earth, they're gonna be crying because they're gonna see the destruction that the Most High is gonna do through Yahushua and the 200 million angels, right? They're gonna seek revenge for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The Most High's revenge, because vengeance is the Lord's, right? And these merchants, they're going to see the smoke and destruction of their countries, right? And they're going to be wailing and crying. Read.
Verse 10. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is the judgment come.
Read.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her. For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
Right? So they're going to be angry and crying at all the destruction because they don't get to buy and sell no more. Right? That is the mark of the beast right there. You accepting Christianity and you hating blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and being able to buy and sell. Right? That's the mark of the beast. Read some more.
Verse 12. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all manner vessels of jewelry, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble.
Right? All the things that they sold, all the things that they were selling to get rich off blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All the gold that they made blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans mine. All the silver and spices that they sold us for. Right? That's what those that's the reward of the mark of the beast. All those things that we just read, right? The iron, the marble, right? You accepted Christianity, and now you had a marble. You sold drugs to your people and have a marble floor in your mansion, right? You accepted Christianity, sold and murdered your brother, and you have the gold chains on, right? We're almost done, Akim. Rock with me. We're almost done, Akim. Hold up. Let's go. Finish. Where were you? 13. Read 14.
Okay. And the fruit that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all.
Read.
The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping
Right?
and
These merchants were made rich by accepting that mark of the beast. Right? These are the things that they did and the treasures that they got, right? And they're going to be angry when they have to pay for it, right? Read it. Where'd you leave off? What was that?
verse 15.
Finish out to 17. That'll be one of the last ones that we read.
Kana. Verse 16. And saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off.
Wait. Hit me again. Hit it again from and all the company in ships.
And every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off.
Right? So again, you are not a buyer and seller if you're black, Hispanics, and Native American. because to buy and sell, you need ships, right? You were the product being sold, right? You were the product being devoured, and now you're the person consuming, right? You don't own cargo freight ships, right? You don't have a port. There's no port in Jane and Finch, right? There's no port in Caledonia, right? Six Nations, you don't have a port, right? You are not a buyer and seller, right? You are just a consumer. Uh, we got one more. Officer Rod, you with us still? No? Okay, I'll just read this one out right quick. Right? So we're at Matthews 8 and 5, right? And if you're a police officer in the Black, Hispanic, and Native community, like you should know you are not worthy, right? You should know that you are accepting the oppression of your people, and how you should feel about yourself is how this centurion felt when he met Christ and he needed his peoples to be healed, right? Where are we? Matthew
Salaki,
8.
I can read it for you.
Con, it's no sweat. It's no sweat. If you got it, you got it right now. You can read it. But I know the Akim were reading, and I know we had long days, So I can read some too. Shit, Salakia.
Yeah,
Right?
no
But
sweat.
if you got it. Drop it for me. We just got 3 verses right quick.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 8, and verse 5. And when Yahushua was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick with the palsy, grievously tormented.
Right? Hold up for a second now. So there was a centurion, right? That he came up to Yahushua and he said, damn, listen, one of my servants are sick. One of the men in my care are sick, and I need you to heal him, right? So he knew Yahushua was healing people, and this centurion, right? He's an Israelite, right? Because Christ don't heal people who aren't his people. He only came for his people, right? And he was basically a police officer. This would be a police officer that works in 32 Division, 31 Division, 42 Division, 13 Division, right? All those divisions, 22 Division, right? Read.
Verse 7. And Yahushua saith unto him, I will come and heal him.
Right? So Yahushua said, all right, where homie at? Let's go heal him. Right? And this is what the centurion thought of himself, because he knew all the evil he was doing to the children of Israel. And this is how every Black, Hispanic, and Native American police officer should think about themselves. Right? Once again, go watch Commandant General YAHANNA Black Watch right now. It's the CNN for Black folks. Mondays, every Monday, 9 p.m. Go get that in. Right? What? Run that one more time.
Right.
Oh, read that last verse. I think you're at verse 8 now.
Kana.
Baba Kashaf, the water.
Kana. Verse 8. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldst come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed.
Right? So we're going to wrap up with that one. He knew that he was a piece of crap. He knew that he did everything he could and followed every order to hurt Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? To hurt his brothers and sisters, right? And he said, no, I'm not worthy, right? That's how cops and the Black, Hispanics, and Native American cops and politicians and the pastors should think of themselves, that they are not worthy because they are doing a disservice to the people, right? So again, this is the Monday night history class, right? I'm going to read out the ISUPK announcements right quick. This is the Monday night history class. And with me, I got Officer 50 Sharif, Officer 50 Rod. Let's give that brother another hand, another round of applause, right? Because he passed his officer's test. He put in that work, and he was working diligently and hard, and now he's an officer of 50. Right? I'm going to read these announcements right quick. ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3 verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashara, which means tenth in Hebrew, 10% of every penny the Lord of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocations, we have Purim, that's the 14th day of the 15th day of the 12th month. Thursday, February 25th, Friday, February 26th. We're going to be celebrating the Feast of Purim. If you want to get more information on the Feast of Purim, hit me up, Zabaja Benjamin on Facebook, or just Zabaja on IG. You can also hit up hit me up in the email, zabajabenjamin@gmail.com. Right? And you can find Purim in Esther chapter 9, verses 20 to 31. Reminder to all Akim and Aqua to check the ISUPK.com website. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, and pants, and headband. With that said, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Right? We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. And then a courtesy salute to the brothers, then a courtesy salute to the sisters. And then I'm going to drop the rest of the sign-out links for you. Salakia. Hold up, I'm going to drop those sign-out links for you in a second. But Men of Israel, I.M.A.J.M, which means to stand. One moment. Men of Israel, I.M.A.J.M Shabbat. I.M.A.J.M. Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Barakatah. Yad Yamatah, which means hands down. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. I.M.A.J.M Shabbat. I.M.A.J.M. Barak. Yahweh Shema Alatah Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yad Yamatah, which means hands down. Class dismissed. I'm going to run a quick commercial. Quick Passover commercial, a little shameless plug. The water for everybody who tuned in. While I run the commercial, I'm going to drop the sign-out links. The water for tuning in again. I'm Officer 50 Zabadi, the Captain General YAHANNA of the I.S.U.P.K.
All right, Most High in Christ. Okay.
Most High in Christ.
Shalom, officer. Yahweh Hashem